Hey folks, it's me Mr. B. Welcome to GGTV. Put your feet up, grab a brew as I present to you my review of Warhammer Quest 2, The End Times, developed by Perchang. Perchang is a small studio who has produced just one game prior, also named Perchang. This is surprising when you take into account that for the most part, End Times is what I'm going to refer to this game as from now on, is somewhat a polished turn-based strategy adventure RPG. I get that's a lot of hats for one game to manage at once, but this game juggles all the mechanics very, very well. In my reviews, I discuss the bad, the good, and the ugly. The latter being things that annoy me specifically as a grumpy, middle-aged, opinionated, irritable twat. So, without any further ado and all the bullshit to one side, let's start this review with the good. Overall, I found more things positive to talk about than negative, which automatically puts this game on the front foot. One of the most impressive features of this game is the world building. Obviously, Warhammer is a well-known for strong fantasy writing, and End Times continues that tradition. You control a team of warriors who, despite being enemies, band together to fight off the chaos which is invading their realm. You travel across the world, going from town to town, fighting through dangerous and well-designed dungeons, vanquishing foes with extreme prejudice. There's no negotiations, no Geneva Conventions, just balls deep, kill them all tactics. There is no voice acting in this game, which is no problem for me as I have a good imagination and have fun creating my own voice as I read the various well-written conversations between missions. It's because of this that, even though I have little to no experience with the Warhammer universe, I could still understand what was going on, and more importantly, why my warriors didn't just piss off to the pub instead of crawling through dungeons. When you do get into the dungeons, the fighting is turn-based action, which I happen to enjoy. My first experience of turn-based games was with the fantastic XCOM series, and although in my opinion the XCOM system is far superior to this one, the system in this certainly delivers an enjoyable tactical experience. Better yet, once you get to a point where you can buy new squad members, which is around about the third area, you can start to adapt your squad's dynamics for different dungeon types. There are 12 different hero classes in total to choose from, which offer a range of abilities from straight up badass ground and pound to range magic and arrows and things like that to buffs and debuffs, all of which allow you to adapt the game to your preferred playstyle and tactical acuity. Best of all is the easy to understand combat. This is actually one area that End Times actually beats XCOM. Perchang have done a great job of simplifying the turn-based strategy system into something that even someone who has never tried this genre before can easily pick up and understand within a few minutes. This of course leads me on to level design. When most people, and me as well, think about turn-based games, they tend to think of a chessboard style arena, which isn't the case here. The dungeons are littered with objects to hide behind and to protect against ranged attacks, which both your team can and your enemies will take full advantage of. This means that each dungeon offers a puzzle experience to work out whilst you're trying to wipe out every single enemy inside the dungeon areas. The art style is expertly done too, maybe slightly on the grainy side and almost just a touch too sharp, but the graphics definitely give a dark, dingy, cold feel which helps with game immersion. On top of that, the animations are top notch. From the characters to the attack mechanics, I could really tell that Perchang put a lot of effort into this, and believe me, that effort has paid off in spades. Another area that's had someone who cares pay attention to is the attack sounds. From the wisp of the magic fire to the sheer colossal chunk of the mace. The sounds are spot on, so much so that I rarely notice things like this in games, but in End Times, there is something seriously satisfying about squashing enemies under the weight of the huge mace or hammer. As I said at the start of this, there was a lot to talk about when it came to the good. But now we've got through that, it's now time to look at the bad. Luckily, there's only really one truly bad aspect of this game, and a few personal gripes which I'll get into later. For me, the music has to be the most repetitive, over the top, overly amped nonsense I've ever heard in any game. It literally seems like 2 tracks get played in the dungeons, one for fighting, one not for fighting, and they play on fucking repeat. After 2 hours of playing a few dungeons, I had a headache like you wouldn't believe from the constant war drum, which plays over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Do you see how fucking annoying that is? In my last playthrough, I turned the music off entirely, which hurt the feel of the game, because music adds to the ambience. In this day and age, with so many amazing composers selling the rights to music for less than the cost of a meal for 4 at a restaurant, I am absolutely gobsmacked that the music playlist is so drastically lacking in diversity. Even if they've just added 4 or 5 different tracks to the playlist, it would have made for a much better experience. If you want my advice while playing this game, turn off the music completely and find a fantasy playlist from YouTube or something and play that instead. Trust me, it'll make a massive amount of difference. And speaking about making a difference, this leads me on to the ugly. Now, just to reiterate, the ugly side of this game are things that personally annoy me. This is personal preference here. If you are like me, which is rare, you'll probably find the same things, but this is just some things that annoy me. One of the things I absolutely adored about XCOM was the mission design. In each mission, you get an objective. Then once that's complete, it was a race to get your squad to the extraction zone in one piece without any of them dying. End Time says, fuck that, the only way you leave is to kill every enemy in every open zone before you can activate the extraction plates. This, on a few occasions, has caused me to have to traipse all the way back through from the end of the dungeon to the very beginning to find the one enemy I missed, which, when you can only move 4 or 5 blocks at a time, takes forever. I swear you could actually see me age in the time it took me to get from one end of the dungeon to the other and back again, whilst wishing I could have a polite one-on-one chat with the person who decided that was a fucking good idea. That needs changing and sharpish. So it hampers the fun when it happens. It just makes you want to turn the game off completely. The other true and annoying thing is the need to press X every time the game loads something. Finish a mission, press X. Press options to start a mission, wait for it to load, then press X. Why is this necessary? I don't need to keep pressing X after every bloody load screen. Just load it up and let's go. The amount of times I've been sat looking at my phone waiting for the game to load something, only to realise it's been on the press X screen for 5 minutes. I'm seeing more and more games do this lately, and it's infuriating. And then there's the bloody tile choosing character game it puts in. Remember when I said that in each dungeon there are obstacles you can hide behind? If you have one character on one side of the obstacle and you have another character on the other side of the obstacle, to switch between the two you have to navigate the squares around the object. Why can't it just jump from one square to the next in the direction that I wanted it to go? Or better yet, why can't I just jump from one character to the next with a simple press of a button? It doesn't make sense to me to have to navigate around the squares. I definitely feel the game needs a faster way to character swap mid-fight, rather than having to toggle between every single bloody square between the characters. A simple one-button system like press triangle to switch would make a massive amount of difference here and seriously add to the user experience. Look, all in all, End Times is a polished, enjoyable, turn-based strategy game with fun, immersive, written story and wonderful art style. Yes, it has its issues, as I've just mentioned. Yes, it is not perfect, but I tell you what, for what it is, it ain't far off. A few changes here or there and, to the user experience, etc., and there'll be little for fans of this genre to complain about. Better yet, it's a great place to start if you want to dip your toe into turn-based strategy games. Taking everything into account with Warhammer Quest 2 The End Times, and a ridiculous name, for me it receives a solid, and I mean a solid, 7 out of 10. So there you go. Have you played this game? What's your thoughts on it? Do you want to play this game? Has this review made you want to play this game? Whatever you want to say, get in the comments below and let me know. If you've enjoyed this review and want to see more, click subscribe and ding that notification bell. A like would be appreciated too. Until next time, that's all from me, Mr. B. Ta-ta for now.